Hello, outside video today. It's chilly, but I have a hot take for you, okay? So listen here, children. Um, I watched a video recently called Trans Music and the Desire to Not Exist. And in this video, talks about trans music and, it's pretty neat. I think it does pretty well at talking about it. But YouTube comments, my greatest enemy, most of them were like, wow, cis man talks about trans music in a way that is like good and stuff. And I thought, man, that's really divisive. Like, that's putting each other in a box. And you know how I feel about boxes. But I also thought that, man, it's having a lot of, like, preconceptions, stereotypes. And I'm not the hugest fan of them because people are all wildly different. And so, whenever I was thinking, like, we're all just like humans and stuff doing human things in this human world, not really like we're of the same blood, right? We all got that hemoglobin, And so all this like division is kind of, I know, hardwired in our brain, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but it's kind of just how it is. But I mean, it doesn't really matter if like you're Hitler or Mother Teresa, you're still just like of blood. Um, and even so, like, no, since we're all just humans and such, it's kind of in our nature to compete, because evolution, competing for resources, we just out here trying to survive, but we have so many resources, plentiful resources, too many in some regard, and now we're left with having to control ourselves, right? Because we have all the resources in the world, but we don't have the systems to stop or to moderate the amount of like resources that we use. And so we're left with this constant battle within ourselves, and whenever we have internal conflicts, we often like to make them external because it's just a way to cope. But some people don't, some people do. But as long as there's that small percentage of people that do, there's such a large amount of people that it'll, have lasting effects somewhere down the line. And society, yeah, I'm not the hugest fan of using that term either, since the Joker kind of stole it and left us with, I don't know, we live in a society. But it is the term that is used to make up like people in a civilization that have their own sort of culture. And of this culture that we have, it's made a lot of division, right? And there's all sorts of people that we can group together and categorize and completely ignore or slaughter depending on your ideology. And that's not cool, right? We're all just people. And some people are scared of particular people. And that's, like xenophobia, a fear of the other. But they've been raised in such a way that, they fear them because it is an unknown. And unfortunately, it's a little difficult to stop that fear of the unknown. So maybe if you're a child bearer out there, then let your kid experience a lot of different things so that whenever they grow up, they're they're not super afraid of the unknown or afraid of certain groups of people. Like, that's really not the best. You're really limiting your opportunities, right? Because there are so many amazing people out there that have small, minute differences, even though they're still just people, whether it be culture or whatnot. But it's really just like up to us, me, this generation, to change things, right? It's always the next generation that makes the biggest changes. And we, this generation, need to show our kids the world, right? Because I'm sure that there's some people out there who are really overprotective of their children, right? But that has some pretty bad long-term consequences, and it's honestly coming from a fear that's within ourselves of our children being harmed, which is terrible and we don't want, but they'll be harmed even more if we don't let them experience things, right? And so go out there and experience the world, and experience it with your child if you are of one. And if you are a child right now, what are you doing watching this video? Don't you need like CoComelon or something? Sorry, didn't mean to put you in a box. But go out there, be curious, and the world is your oyster. Things will only get more awesome from here. As your brain explodes and grows, you'll learn a lot of new things, and a lot of interesting and amazing things will happen to you. Anyways, toodles.